Two unemployed actors, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome back to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And today I'll update you on my latest corporate job. Some info on TVC casting from a casting director, which always helps. I mean, we'll take any advice from anyone,
Very
really.
true.
We're just hustling. And Sammy's going to talk about Sam.
As always, it's all I
and
know.
interject on my amazing stories. Speaking of which, what have you been up to?
Remember last week I spoke about someone asking us, Jess and I, to audition,
Mm-hmm.
but wanting us to have specific locations and specific props. And remember I said that?
Quite an involved self-test.
Apparently, it was miscommunication. She didn't make it clear that she didn't necessarily want all that. Anyway,
Well, then why put it in there? Then why ask for it?
I don't know. It's bizarre. Anyway, she
Life's simply if you just ask for what you need.
Yeah. Well, she contacted us a day after it was meant to be in and said, "Are you guys still auditioning?" Which gave us like, "Are we the only ones you have?"
You mean, are they auditioning?
Well,
Oh, no, so they...
no, she called
So
Jess
the
and
people... Right, after it had closed...
after the
to
audition
say, are you still auditioning
to call
for
us
this
and
project?
be like, "Are you still auditioning?" Because we didn't
Got it.
end up sending one in
Yeah,
because of everything.
because it's Stanley Kubrick special
Yeah.
with 50 million takes per... Let's get the pigeon in the shot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, okay, when do you need it? She's like, I need it in by tomorrow. And this is like at night. This is
Great.
like
That's
7 p.m. already.
awesome. I mean, we're used to that stuff. You get the sides the night before, audition the next day, but that's probably
That's a
a
bit-
bit...
Yeah, and I don't know why she's calling us after. Anyway, so
Well, I think, you know what's happened? With a detailed list of what they needed in a self-test, it was never going to happen. People looking at that, risk
I don't
versus
think so,
reward, the labour for free versus will I get this? And then it's like, nah.
I was like, I can't read it. Jess was like, let's just try it. Let's just do it. And we were like,
Good on you, Jess.
let's
give it a go.
Good on Jess. I
Whip
know,
him
she
into
pushes,
gear.
she
Get him
pushes
off
me
the
to do my
couch.
best. Get him off the couch and right into the bed because that was the scene.
Take the beer out of his hand. Mate, we've got to go to work.
So we kind of did it like, let's just do it.
Yeah. Nothing to lose.
And it was multiple scenes. Quite an emotional thing for me to do, actually. It was weird. And sent that in and sent our stuff in.
Okay.
And she
The
said,
next
okay.
morning? Yep.
No, that night. She
Oh,
wanted
wow.
it that night.
Of course.
She got back to us and said, like, "Oh, we like what you're doing, all this stuff." She was like, "Can you do a Zoom call today? Like today, we're having a Zoom call with the crew. Can you do it
With
at
the
11?
crew?
Yeah. Can you do it at 11?" I was like, I felt like saying, "Actually, I'm busy today."
But why does the crew need to be in on...
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a weird situation. Anyway, got on the call. She didn't tell us what it was going to be about, and she was like, "I just want to see some acting from you guys." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What the hell did we just send you? We just sent you stuff. Did you not look at it?
Oh,
Or did you look at it and not
here's the
understand
thing.
it?
She was like, "Sam, I want to see more of you because you put your head in your you put your hands in on your face when you did the emotional part." And I was
Sammy.
like, I actually said to her, "Well, in the script it says his head falls to his chest." So I was doing exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, it's okay. We'll have the camera on the floor." I was like,
Of course you will. That's an interesting shot.
in my head, I was like,
It's the
I
vomit into the
can
camera
move
shot.
my head up.
Oh my God.
It's probably easier than having the camera on the floor.
Because you can fall to the chest and cheat the camera and sort of look up a bit. It's
Yeah,
like, you know,
but
we're not-
so we did all that. It was a very weird situation.
It sounds it.
Oh, so weird. She was like, "Jess and Sam, can you do like a chemistry thing?"
So
honestly-
when she said crew, so who's on the call? Her and...
Her, the DOP,
Yep.
the producer, and someone else.
So why the DOP and the mystery person?
This is a really, really amateur production.
Okay.
But
it sounds
it was
like they're trying really hard to make it,
It sounds
seem
like they're
it's
trying-
more involved than
yes,
it is.
I said to Jess, they're trying to make it seem like it's really professional and it's doing the exact opposite. Because she actually said to us, she's like, "And if you guys don't get it, don't worry. Like I'll."
How many Zoom calls are they doing?
This is one Zoom call. Like, don't worry. I'll work with you again in the future sometime. It's like, yeah, we know. We've done this before. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Anyway, and she kind of asked me to do. She was like, do a scene where you're looking, at photographs of Jess with another guy. And I was like, okay, all right. We weren't prepared to actually act on this on this Zoom call, but I'll do it. So I started like pretending to do it, and I was kind of like, she was like, "Good, can you get more angry, like more angry?" And I was like, "Hold on, can I have context?" So, was I suspicious of this occurring, or does it come as a surprise to me? She's like, "No, not a surprise, not a surprise. Okay, you took the photos, and you're re-looking at it." And I was like,
"You took the photos of her with another guy."
Yeah. and you're re-looking at it. Do it like that. No
That's
surprise.
called a menage à trois.
Yeah. Yes. And I said, okay, so I wouldn't get so angry as to scream, which she wanted me to do.
Right.
If I knew it, if I took the photos and I'm reliving it, it's kind of an internal. Anyway, so I did it, and the scream didn't come out. Like
It's
it
hard
didn't
because
feel it.
you're confused. You don't know what the hell's going
No,
on.
and she said, okay, just scream angrily for me. I just need to see that. I was like, okay, let me just do it. Yeah, acting's just about, just doing stuff. There's no thought. It's not
I'm
hard.
slowly
Don't worry,
dying
guys. It's not
inside.
hard. Anyway, long story short, we hung up on that Zoom call, and I literally, as I hung up, I was like, we're not doing it, Jess.
Yeah, because if that's what it's like, trying to get the role and trying to talk to them and get information from them that you need as an actor.
Yeah.
What would it be like on set?
I know. She didn't know how to direct actors.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I've walked in with those. Remember, I did those 5 auditions and they had those 5, a character a week for 5 weeks with that, pretty much with AFTT. It was with another school. It was with AFTT. I didn't get the role, but I walked in and they were as nervous. And they said, "Look, this is our first auditioning process ever."
Yeah.
And to be fair, they did look more nervous than me, and they did
Yeah.
say that. They're like, "Look, but what we
heard
want to
that.
do is see if you can fit into the role." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Have you read the script yet?" We just had a constructive conversation because they wanted the best person for the role because they've lived with this script for a long time. I wanted to give it my best, as professional as if it was a full-on paid gig.
Yeah, there we go.
And we connected that way because our objectives were the same.
Beautiful.
We weren't trying to be anything when we weren't.
Well, on a lighter note as well, I got a message from my agent today.
Yep.
Got a Helga's commercial audition.
Good. In the room or self-tapes?
No, self-tapes.
Yep.
It's always, we're living in a world of self-tapes. But I got it today. They said preferably can we have it by tomorrow, latest Monday.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I could do it over the weekend. Or I could be one of those guys who's just like, shows how prepared I can be and get it done. So I shot it actually. I got home from work at 3.
Yep.
Shot it. I'm going to edit it when I get home and then came to you now.
Yeah.
So I'll send it in by tonight.
Good.
So hopefully that's good.
Well, don't kill yourself because it sounds like they're not going to look at everything till Monday anyway.
No,
so.
yeah. So, but I did want to send it in. I've done it. So it's with Anusha Marrakesh, I think, casting, and she seems like from the paragraph that she left it that she seems very, very cool. And you spoke about her a couple of podcasts ago.
Yeah, she had a Q&A talking about how you can be the best in the room.
Yeah, she seems really genuine. She says, I want kind of real people / actors, like real, to have a campaign that you can see someone on screen and relate to. You can't really do that with a model who's got makeup and hair done and all this stuff. She wants the real people, quirky kind of. She seems like one of those cool, quirky people. So I kind of played along to that and did the self-tape kind of funny how she wanted it. But it's singing, so it's got like a jingle.
Oh,
Helga's
good
jingle.
on you.
Yeah, so we got to do that, and so fingers crossed to get it. I feel like just because I'm excited and just was like, yeah, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yep.
Like those are the
That
ones you
energy's
usually
gonna
get.
come
I'm not
through.
jinxing
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
she wanted the relaxed kind of look.
That's
so
great.
That's cool. And also, so someone that I knew I met through 3 weeks in spring when I was doing that musical.
Yep, I remember that.
She's done a lot of crew stuff, and she is still doing a lot of crew stuff, and she's working on the film Ruby's Choice.
Okay.
Don't know if you've heard of it.
I have heard of Ruby's Choice.
I think you brought it up. I think it sounded familiar to me when I heard it. With Jane Seymour.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's independent, but collaboration with Screen Australia.
Yep.
And she was like, look, do you want to be a featured extra in this scene? I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
Go for it, yeah.
So I'm doing that on Monday.
That's great.
Got to be in Roseville at 5:30 a.m.
Where's that?
Exactly.
We have to cross Anzac Parade.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll fall off the face of the earth.
For those of you not in Sydney, it's okay.
No, so that's exciting, being in an actual feature film with someone like that.
Yeah.
And I did actually contact my agent and say, I've heard as well, apparently they're still in the casting process because I think it's Ben Parkinson.
Okay.
Is it possible that there is an actual role?
If you word or anything, just walk on and say something.
But everything's getting busier. I'm now doing
It's good, isn't it?
Kind of part-timey job.
Yep.
Managing a canteen, and
Look,
all this acting's coming.
It is, and I think it's a sign of the times for the industry in Australia where there is just so much backlog. The bread and butter of every casting director is television commercials, and there's just so much happening. There's so much happening, which is great. But also, there's like 18 feature films coming. to be
Yes.
made here, whether they're Australian or independent or from the big studios
I did hear
overseas.
that. I did.
Because I know LA is running at 20% of what they need to be running at to be at full production. But one thing that just dropped recently was Nicole Kidman's production company, Blossom Productions, I think it's called, filming in around Byron Bay. Just got confirmed last week, like days ago, as being shot in New South Wales. And it's over $100 million. I think it's a mini series.
Okay.
Based on books by Lane Moriarty, who did Big Little Lies, and with Reese Witherspoon's production company. So
and it's got greenlit already.
That's great. So $100 million confirmed for New South Wales from one production. So I mean, like, it's starting to happen. And if you're going to make a movie right now, let's be honest, where would you like to make it where there's less chance of catching COVID? It's just another $100 million for the industry and bring it on more acting
so
opportunities.
So they're still in development? Like now, are they casting?
Oh, they're casting. And obviously there's a lot of second tier. Do you know? I can't remember. No, there's a lot of second tier roles. What I mean by second tier is, you're going to cast find your main cast, whether they're from America or local, just get the best people. They're trying to find as many of those local as possible. I think looking for groups of children, for example, and just looking for those that were local. I mean, you can imagine the difficulty when you've only got a certain amount of time to work with children of a certain age to get them to set if they're not, and put them up in the local area if they're not from
there.
Exactly. And easier too with the COVID-19 situation to have people moving around local to them and not traveling too much.
Yeah. Well, now casting agents are going not just through agents, they're posting on Facebook or putting it through Star Now because of COVID and just a self-tape world. So you can actually find stuff a lot more easily that are more, I guess,
it certainly feels that way
of casting,
because we've come out of hell of a drought.
Hell of a drought.
So it certainly feels like it. But yeah, it's really ramping up. It's getting a lot busier. I know for me, like, I've had a job a week for the last few weeks. And
yes, how was your corporate?
Yes, the corporate job. So, well, what happened was I was on hold for yesterday. So I was on hold for a Wednesday.
Okay.
And I got a text message Friday afternoon saying, where are you traveling from? What's your shirt size?
Two very random questions.
And I thought, unless you're an actor,
but like connected together.
Unless you're an actor.
Okay, yeah, true.
And so I replied, Bondi Junction and medium. Been good gym days. And so I'm only lying to myself, aren't I? Really?
No.
Anyway, no, medium. And so I said, no, thinking it was, okay, well, they've locked in Wednesday. But I actually applied for another job. And it was the other one. So, no, he said, we were looking to film it for Friday, which is why I'd forgotten about it because I'm already moving on.
Okay.
Friday's come and gone. I got the job a couple of days ago, and they want a Facebook advertisement filmed.
Cool.
They've got an office, and it'll be Sunday. So half a day Sunday in the Rocks in the city. Great office. And this is the difference between a small job and a smallish, tiny job. So if you remember from last episode, I talked through what happened with a smallish job, which was very small, and in fact, no production company, just dealing with the HR department of a blue chip multinational, and it was just hard work as an actor, but you know, patience and everything was fine, and we got through it. So check out last week's episode for more on that. But then I'm dealing with someone who runs a production company. Yeah. So this job was already easier for me. What size are you? Where are you traveling from? I've got to organise the location. It's a small crew, short job, Facebook ad. It's for Clean Group Australia. And they've got this new technology to help electrify, positively charge the chemicals as they come out, so it actually sticks around things to clean them better.
Okay.
Because it's that kind of world we're living in, so it's very pertinent. So they wanted an Australian face for that launch in Australia, which makes absolute sense, right? Localising it. So I did a bit of research. They said, oh, look, we've got the script, and what they sent through was just huge. Because, you know, it's written by committee in the organisation. Everyone wants to chuck everything in that makes sense. And everyone's got something to say. Next thing you know, it's 5 pages for a Facebook ad, right? No, really, it was 5 pages. Yeah. So he's gone, I've chopped it down. I'll give you extra if you want to do the script. And lo and behold, my 20 years of corporate sales has kicked in, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I just read through the script and just chopped and changed it and called out the big points, looked at their website, like it's 15 minutes, but, you know, extra money. And it's obviously the more work I put in there, the easier it'll be for me when I'm presenting to camera. So I said, will there be an auto cue? Because, you know, it just helps you relax a little bit more, and he's going to sort that out. And so already a few messages and I know what I'm doing.
Awesome.
I turn up on Sunday and the client's there, so I'm on my best behaviour. And the production company manager was there, and he said, "Look, the camera guy's called in sick, so it's all me." Luckily, he knows what he's doing. So he said, "Just the setups are going to take a bit longer because I'm doing lighting and sound and everything." So,
Okay.
no worries. So it just allowed me to take more time to get changed, get familiar with the script, read it out loud, walk around. It's my office, that sort of thing.
Cool.
And then on action, bang, just straight to the auto cue and make it look as natural as possible. And that's kind of cool for me. That's kind of, I don't find that too hard. In fact, I find that that's the most comfortable for me. And lo and behold, I had to represent, relaxed, relatable, it's a serious subject, but, I'm talking with you, not at you sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it really went quite smooth. And even at the end, the client's gone in and said, have you got Max's details just so we know we can use him again? I'm like, yeah, brilliant. And because I was chatting to the guy as well, the guy being Mark from the production company, the dude, and the dude said because I talked to him about voiceovers as well, because I do voiceovers, plenty of time to talk during setups. So I get this text message last night. Oh, look, they want to do a voiceover intro for it to introduce the ad. Are you able to do that? And I sent him a quote. Accepted that, recorded it this morning, sent it through to him, and there we go. He's already paid. Like it's just
nice.
How easy, efficient, effective, and look, it's another production company that's got me on their books, so I'm happy. And another corporate job, so it's all happening. And then to make matters better, I went for that audition. When was it? A couple of weeks ago, or last week? I think it was.
Which one?
I can't remember. For a television commercial for an insurance company, and it actually was in the room. So I was interacting with my on-screen wife and talking to my on-screen son, but I was the only actor in the room because of the COVID at a distance. So
they're actually on a screen, as in your on-screen son and your on-screen wife.
Yeah.
When they weren't in the room.
No, they weren't in the room. No.
Were they recorded?
No, they weren't there at all. It's just
you were fake talking.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just auditioning but I'm the only one in the room, and I'm talking to my wife. Thanks for the coffee, Cheryl. Talking to my son Nick, drive carefully, whatever.
There's not even a casting agent there. You're just in a room
with three people.
Yeah,
and they're all like, "Where's the exit?" No, it was really good. I think I've worked with them before. I can't remember. Oh my god, my memory. But I got it. I'm happy. I'm a happy chap. So on Monday, I've got to sell life insurance and make it sound really interesting for
amazing.
90 second to 60 second to 30 second. Well, I don't know about amazing. That's probably a bit of a strong word.
Okay.
Good. It's great.
It's good.
It's not the same script Nero's getting. I'm sure of that. But
you got it through your agent?
It's wonderful dry copy. Yes, through the agent.
Cool.
And so really happy with that. So like it's all happening now. I've and then voiceovers are still going. So I'm actually I'm having to use colours in my diary now. So I know what I'm doing.
There we go.
So at least I can pretend I know what I'm doing.
It's good to be busy. Like we've always said, busy actors are happy actors.
Exactly. So out there and pressing the flesh and meeting people, talking to people, doing corporate jobs, and just, the difference between the small job that I was making a point of last week where, it's just a lot of hard work for a little reward versus working with a production company. Even if it's 7 of them in the room or 1 of them, it's still, because that's what they do.
Yeah,
and they're used to working with actors, and it just made it flow so quickly. We got so much... Even a lot of B-roll stuff of, Max, the owner of the clean group, walking through, checking everything's clean or whatever it was I was doing, because we just had the time. It just flowed really well, which is great. And there's moments where, I'm going through and talking through the script, and then the client's there going, "Can you mention blah, 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 blah?" And I'm like, "Yep, sure." And then he goes, "And blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Okay, no worries." And then I'm processing that in my head, how I'm going to relate that to camera. And then it's like action. And then it's like... And then I've just got to say, So the salesy person in me was rewarded because it was back in that world. So that made it a bit easier. But there were so many moments where, do you think you could say it this way or that way? And while you're doing that, don't forget to hold it so the logo's up here and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just repeating in my head the key words that I needed so that it kind of flowed in my own words when I finally said action, because it literally was a little bit seat of the pants. But that's what happens when the client's there sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Like the television commercials, like I've done, you've got the client as in you've got the production company, and then you've got the client who is perhaps the marketing department of an insurance company,
Mm-hmm.
for example, and they're category managers, and they'll turn up for scones and muffins and and a soft drink, and get the day out of the office, and not really do too much other than check the rushes and sort of go, yeah, that looks good, or that looks, yep, that's fine, or that's on brand, or or we can't have that color in it, that's a competitor color, or something. All the important things that they'll get fired for. I had time to do another Q&A with another casting director
Okay.
through the MEAA, so the union here in Australia. It was the casting director of Nick Hammond Casting, who are based in Melbourne, which for those of you overseas, Melbourne is now a COVID hotspot and they're in a 6-week lockdown, but hey, they're still casting.
Yeah.
And as she said, well, this is our second lockdown, so we kind of know what we're doing. Before it was scrambling, going, have we got the technology? What do we need to do? Well, now it's like, okay, let's just press play on plan B. So business as usual, really, and a lot of TVCs as well, which, again, like I said, is their bread and butter. So she's been, Amy Met, M-E-T, Amy Met was there to talk about her 30 years of casting. About 100 of us on the Zoom call.
Oh, cool.
And you're able to ask questions. A lot of it's stuff we know. And also things like, please don't send me your headshot and ask me to represent you, because that's not what we do. So, it's like, I'm like, oh my God, actors, come on. We could do better than that.
Yeah.
That's the casting bit.
Yeah.
Things like really going through agents and Showcast. They really love using Showcast because there's a great self-test facility there. So if you're going to cast something, it's a really easy way to bring together all of the self-tapes actors send through and vet them. So Showcast have stepped up at a time when it's all about self-tapes, as you said. So look, if it's casting networks, they'll get it and put it onto Showcast, but it's not like you have to have a Showcast account, especially if you're going through an agent, but it helps. Right. A lot of times people think, oh, why didn't they pick me? I looked at the ad and it's nothing like what I was. Like, you walk in a room and it'll look the same as you. Completely different, like what's going on, why do I waste my time? The client has the final say. So they'll present like their shortlist, and they'll know they really want to work with person A and B because they were so good at taking direction. It's going to be so much smoother on set and blah, blah. The client will go, nope, don't like them. That could be it. Yeah. Or looks too similar to the last day we did, or too tall, or something. Like it could be anything, because we're talking about marketing managers at blue chip organizations, not directors, not producers. Not, these are the clients. It's their ad. They're paying for it.
It's kind of good if you look different to everyone else in the room, because the casting agent and the client will be watching the same looking people over and over again, and then something fresh comes. Well, that can sometimes be a good thing.
It depends on the brief, because if they are looking for a certain specific type,
that's very true as well.
Then they'll expect to see.
That's true. But like that, like sitting and watching heaps of tapes, if you've got someone fresh looking compared to everyone else, it can be even if you don't get that particular role, they'll remember you maybe more. Could be. Like out of all the guys with black hair, do you remember the old one?
The girl with blonde hair.
Yeah. You remember that old one?
That guy with the dress, yeah.
Remember that old one from Two Unemployed Actors?
Yeah, that guy. He's doing all right. Can't complain. I think the brief said no 20s, we need 30s, and I've cast as 40-something with a teenage son who drives, so an older teenage son, probably your age. Don't call me dad. So my kids are getting older, and that's okay. There was a 5 years of partying and working on the Gold Coast that could have resulted in lots of incidents, but no. I just get nervous on Father's Day now every time I check the mail, just in case, Hey, Dad.
That's how many? Are you unsure if you have children out there?
If you're listening, no.
If you're listening,
so the client has final say, and it could be that superficial. It could be that they really want someone and the casting director doesn't see it as the right fit, and they'll push sometimes, but at the end of the day, the client's got the final say. It's their work.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And it's all about the self-tape, as we know at the moment, as we've said many times on the program. So that doesn't mean sit down and wait, buy the most expensive video camera you can afford and wait for the phone to ring. That means use your phone, record yourself doing scenes, work on a scene for a few days, and then do it to camera, and keep doing it to camera, and then see how you look and make those adjustments, and try and just keep practicing, keep it fresh. Yeah. So when the opportunity lands in your lap, you're ready to go, because yes, it's going to be about self-tapes for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, rare is that was the first time I've been in a room for an audition, when I did that audition for the TVC that I got. So I got 100% strike rate. If I don't include every self-test this year.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no need to go to a studio too. Like, she's noticed that a lot of people, not a lot, but some people are hiring out a studio and trying to get the lighting all like, you don't need to do that. Like, they're happy to see you in the home.
Also, being in this self-tape world at the moment, it's also can be harder because casting agents can see more people than they used to.
Yeah.
So there's a bigger pool of fish.
That's
so
right.
You've got to be the biggest one there.
Well,
As in best.
Yes, and when you're in the room, when you make it into the room, if it's a callback or if you're actually lucky enough to have an actual audition in a room with a casting director, you don't know what the blocking's going to be like. You don't know what the direction's going to be like. If there's lines, know them, please, because you've got to be able to be flexible in the room. It's all about flexibility.
Yeah.
Because they'll say you're getting out of a car and you're having a cup of coffee and you've got to do all that. And then they'll give you some weird direction or something. Like, just go with it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're there, because you've been up all night working out 5,000 different ways to get out of the car and make yourself a cup of coffee. So be flexible. Don't be the person that goes, I don't know why I would do that. Don't do that.
Oh, that doesn't make sense.
Don't be that person. The script and the brief. The script and brief allow you to prepare a little bit. Mm-hmm. So know the client if you can.
Yeah, and try and do it in as many ways as you can, because you may be asked to do one of the ways you practiced, and then you're good for it.
It could be. So know the script and the brief. The brief gives you lots of clues. It could even say who the client is, which is great. So I know for a couple of ads, a couple of auditions, I've looked online, and their color is blue. Everything's blue. Yeah, that's their brand. So I wore a blue polo. And so you can get clues on what to wear as well.
Yeah, research.
So that can help. But yes, and also throw in some showreel advice. Because they're looking at a lot of reels, and happy to get, as most casting directors would say, happy to see work. But sick of looking at showreels where there's like music over the top of a scene, and it's like, well, it's not a nightclub scene, and there's supposed to be some doof in the background. Don't put it in there. It's just distracting. Yeah. So look. Basically, it's busy, but it's productively busy. It's constructively busy. No free work at the moment for me. I can't do student films, that sort of stuff. I know I've booked on 2 when the world starts to get slowly back to normal that I said yes to a while ago. One with the 2 guys that run their production company that straight out of graduating from film school, and we'll be interviewing them in the coming weeks. So there's something, it's called Flood and Fire, this movie, right? And it's not even the movie that I was auditioning for them for. I auditioned for a movie and then got a part in a different movie they were making. Yeah. Finally got to make that movie that I cast for, which isn't finished editing yet, but soon. And then Flood and Fire, it actually got postponed at Christmas because the shoot was during the fires. We had some large fires in Sydney. Yeah, I remember. And where the location was actually in a place where there was no fires, but all around it was burning. Yeah, to the point where there is no fire brigade there because they're all fighting the actual fires. So if something does happen, which could be likely considering you're surrounded by flames, no help is coming. So we thought it might be a good idea to postpone that. And then the postponed date comes and goes because of the plague. So it's like, why call it Flood and Fire? It's the plague, the fire, floods, locusts, whatever else is going. It's like, we will get there. We will get there. The apocalypse is coming. It's hilarious. Just sometimes how things work. Yeah. But so that's coming up. It's crazy. I know. I read that book. It's important. So it's scary. So there's stuff coming up, and then the play's still a TBC based on getting the approval from the playwright to be able to use it early next year. Awesome. So in the meantime, it's just keep staying fresh, and there's still a lot of stuff happening. There's lots of Q&As happening. I think there's so many ways to stay engaged still with industry, and people are more accessible and still talking to actors online. Zoom is an amazing thing. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. I tweet. YouTube. YouTube as well. Yes, we've got a great YouTube channel where you can see behind the scenes footage and also each and every episode that is filmed live. So I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we are Two Unemployed Actors.
Two Unemployed Actors.